Hello everyone, welcome back to Medico Pharma lecture once again. This is Sunil Kumar Shah and today we are going to discuss about limit test for sulfate. So as we know that sulfate is a harmless impurity which is easily available in pharmaceutical solvents like water. Okay, so if it is present in large quantity, it can interfere with therapeutic value of drug as well as it can create technical problems during the drug formulation. Okay, so that's why we are going to carry out sulfate limit test for pharmaceutical preparation. Now we will try to understand the very basic principle involved in limit test for sulfate. Okay, so for this we are going to take two Nessler cylinder. So in the first Nessler cylinder we are going to add our sample which may contain sulfate impurity. Okay, in this we are also going to add barium chloride, BaCl2 and dilute hydrochloric acid. Okay, so the sulfate impurity present in sample will react with this barium chloride to produce barium sulfate and chloride ion. Okay, so this barium sulfate will produce turbidity. Okay, similarly we are going to add a specific amount of potassium sulfate ester to this another Nessler cylinder. Okay, and to which we are also going to add barium chloride reagent. Okay, along with that we are also going to add dilute hydrochloric acid. Are you getting? Okay, so the K2SO4, that is potassium sulfate, which is our ester, will react with barium chloride to produce barium sulfate and potassium chloride. Okay, this barium sulfate will also produce turbidity. Are you getting? The turbidity produced by sample is called sample turbidity and the turbidity produced by ester is called ester turbidity. Okay, and this both turbidity will be compared against white background. Understood? So this is the basic principle involved in sulfate limit test. Okay, so how we can summarize it? We can summarize it like the limit test for sulfate is based upon the reaction between soluble sulfate ion and barium chloride in presence of dilute hydrochloric acid to produce barium sulfate turbidity. Okay, thus produced sample turbidity is compared with a standard turbidity which is produced by a specific amount of potassium sulfate standard under same reaction condition. Okay, now we will discuss why we are going to add dilute hydrochloric acid. Okay, so as we know that there are other impurities like carbonate, bicarbonate, phosphate which are also present in sample. Okay, and they can also produce precipitate. Okay, which will interfere with turbidity produced by our sample. Okay, so that's why we have to remove this precipitate. Okay, and this can be done by adding dilute hydrochloric acid which will solubilize this precipitate. Okay, but the barium sulfate turbidity produced by sample will be not soluble in dilute hydrochloric acid. Along with that, dilute hydrochloric acid and barium chloride have a common ion, that is chloride, which will show common ion effect and help in fast production of barium sulfate turbidity. Okay. Now coming to procedure, so we are going to take two Nessler cylinders. One we are going to mark as sample Nessler cylinder, another we are going to mark as a standard Nessler cylinder. Okay, so in sample Nessler cylinder we are going to add a specific quantity of sample which we are going to dissolve in 25 ml of distilled water. Okay, similarly in a standard Nessler cylinder we are going to pipette out 1 ml of 0.1089% weight by volume of potassium sulfate and mix with 25 ml of distilled water. Okay, now we are going to add 2 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid solution to both of the Nessler cylinder. After that we are also going to add 5 ml of barium sulfate reagent that contain barium chloride. So be careful, the reagent name is barium sulfate but it contains barium chloride. So we are going to discuss it in detail in the next few minutes. After that, make up the volume up to 50 ml by adding distilled water. Understood? We have to use distilled water because tap water may contain other impurities. Okay, and after that we have to keep aside it for 5 minutes. Okay, As a result, sample turbidity will be produced in sample Nessler cylinder and a standard turbidity will be produced in a standard Nessler cylinder. Okay, and this turbidity will be compared in white background. Okay, so this is all about procedure. Now coming to results. So if sample turbidity is less than a standard turbidity, then the sample will pass the limit test for sulfate. Second, if the sample turbidity is more than a standard turbidity, then the sample will fail the limit test for sulfate. Okay. Now we will discuss about composition of barium sulfate reagent and how we are going to prepare them in the lab. Okay, and it is very important reagent used in sulfate limit test. Okay, and many questions comes related to this one. Okay, so for this we are going to take 100 ml measuring cylinder, to which we are going to add 15 ml of 0.05 molar barium chloride solution. In this we are also going to add a small quantity of, that is 5 ml of 0.018% weight by volume of potassium sulfate K2SO4. Okay, to this solution we are also going to add 20 ml of ethyl alcohol. Okay, and finally we are going to make up the volume up to 100 ml by distilled water. Okay, and the resulting solution is now called as barium sulfate reagent. Okay, so why we are going to use a small quantity of potassium sulfate? Because it will react with barium chloride and produce a small quantity of barium sulfate. This small quantity of barium sulfate will not produce turbidity. Instead, it will make the medium saturated with barium sulfate. Okay, so that barium sulfate, which is produced by sulfate impurity, that is SO4-2 from sample, will exceed the solubility and produces turbidity. Okay, now sometime supersaturation of the media with barium sulfate also takes place. As a result, there will be alteration in turbidity production by the sulfate impurity. Okay, so to prevent that we are also going to use ethyl alcohol. Okay, now whatever we have understood till now, we will summarize it and we will make a note. Okay, so first of all we will give a title. Okay, that is limit test for sulfate. Below that we will write principle, and under this we are going to write the same thing whatever we have understood. Okay, so what we can write? We can write like that. Okay, the limit test for sulfate, that is SO4-2, is based upon the reaction between soluble sulfate ion, and barium chloride BaCl2 in presence of dilute hydrochloric acid to produce barium sulfate turbidity. Okay, thus produced sample turbidity is compared with a standard turbidity, which is produced by a specific quantity of potassium sulfate K2SO4 under same reaction condition. Understood? Okay, now we will write the reaction. So first of all we will write sample reaction. Okay, so here is SO4-2 plus barium chloride, it will give barium sulfate BaSO4 plus 2Cl minus. Here we will write sulfate impurity in sample. Okay, this is barium chloride, here there will be dilute hydrochloric acid, this is barium sulfate, and this is chloride ion. This barium sulfate will produce sample turbidity. Now we will write a standard reaction. Okay, so in this we will write K2SO4 plus BaCl2 will produce BaSO4 barium sulfate plus 2KCl. We will write the name in words. This is potassium sulfate. This is barium chloride. Here there will be dilute hydrochloric acid. This is barium sulfate. This is potassium chloride. This barium sulfate will produce a standard turbidity. Okay. Now we'll mention the note. Okay. So dilute hydrochloric acid HCl is used to prevent the interference of other impurities like carbonate CO3 minus 2, bicarbonate HCO3 minus, phosphate PO4 minus, etc. Okay. The precipitate of these impurities are soluble in dilute hydrochloric acid, but barium sulfate is not soluble. Okay. Moreover, dilute hydrochloric acid HCl enhances formation of barium sulfate BaSO4 barium sulfate by common ion effect. So for this we will also write reaction. Okay. So BaCl2 will split into barium plus Cl minus. Okay. And HCl will also split into H plus and Cl minus. We will write the name in words. Barium chloride, this is barium ion, this is chloride ion, this is hydrochloric acid, this is proton or hydrogen ion, and this is chloride. Now this both chloride are common ion. Okay. And hence it will produce common ion effect. Okay. Now we will discuss about procedures. Okay. So under a standard, pipette out 1 ml of 0.1089% weight by volume of a standard potassium sulfate in a clean Nessler cylinder and dilute with 25 ml of distilled water. Okay. Now coming to the sample, dissolve a specific amount of sample in 25 ml of distilled water in a clean Nessler cylinder. Okay. In next step, add 2 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid and 5 ml of barium sulfate reagent in both of the Nessler cylinder. Okay. Now, and in last step, make up the volume up to 50 ml by distilled water and keep aside for 5 minutes. Okay. So this is the procedure. Now coming to composition of barium sulfate reagent. Okay. So barium sulfate reagent comprises of 15 ml of 0.05 molar barium chloride solution plus 20 ml of ethyl alcohol plus 5 ml of 0.018% weight by volume of potassium sulfate, and finally make up the volume up to 100 ml by distilled water. So this is the composition of barium sulfate reagent. Now we will write the reasoning under same composition of barium sulfate reagent. Okay. So alcohol is added to prevent the supersaturation of barium sulfate precipitate. Okay. Then a small amount of potassium sulfate K2SO4 is added to make the media saturated with barium sulfate so that the barium sulfate formed by or produced by sample will exceed the solubility and produces turbidity. Okay. So this is the reasoning. Now we'll write the observation. Okay. So the sample turbidity is compared with a standard turbidity against white background. Okay. Now coming to reports. So in A, if sample turbidity is less than a standard turbidity, then sample will pass the limit test for sulfate. Okay, if sample turbidity is more than that of a standard turbidity, then sample will fail the limit test for sulfate. Now we will see some important questions related to sulfate limit test. Okay, and notes are available in our Facebook group. With this, we came to the end of this lecture. Thanks for watching us, and kindly subscribe our channel and provide your feedbacks. Thank you very much.